Musical instruments are made of a wide variety of materials. Some materials are used for their acoustic properties, like the spruce used for most soundboards of string instruments. Some for their structural strength, like the cast iron frame in grand pianos, or the tensile steel used for the strings. Others, due to their perception as precious materials from sociocultural aspects, like status and wealth, like ivory, gold, or silver. They might even be used for their symbolic or religious properties, like animal skins and even human bones. Instruments help us understand history. For example, this beautiful clavichord was made by Haas in Hamburg in 1763, very likely for a very wealthy individual. Not only it is an example of outstanding craftsmanship, but if we look into the materials that make its parts, it tells us a story of global commerce and helps us understand all trade routes. The keyboard keytops of the natural keys are made of tortoiseshell, and the tops of the accidental notes are covered in mother of pearl. Both of these materials likely came from the Caribbean islands. The key fronts are made of ivory and other precious materials that most likely came from Africa. The veneer covering the body of the instrument is made of rosewood, likely imported from Brazil. And even the red pigments used in the lead and the size of the body were imported. This is a physical document of how materials were shipped from all over the world in the 18th century. Throughout history, the development of new technologies have allowed instrument makers to find new ways to make instruments or to improve upon an existing model. For example, from the very early 16th century, we have examples of musical instruments made with very thin staves of wood bent to curved shapes by using heat or steam. This was a very evolved technology, and not every woodworker knew how to do it. Similarly, wind instruments adopted the development of thin sheets of metal used to create pipes, and later they were improved upon by the invention of the valve during the Industrial Revolution. Changes in the availability and trade of materials has also affected the production of musical instruments. During the Second World War, rationing had a decisive impact in how, what, and how many instruments could be produced. Materials like wood, metal, and even piano wire were used in the war effort, so they could not be used to produce musical instruments. Another example is the use of materials like ivory, tortoiseshell, Brazil wood. Like I said before, once they were widely employed in the production of luxury instruments. All of these materials are now banned because elephants and hawk-billed turtles were overhunted, almost to the point of extinction. The Amazon rainforests have been awfully overexploited, and nobody would even dream of using such materials to make instruments today. New materials develop over time, and some of them eventually fail, like ebonite, which is a vulcanized rubber that was popular at the beginning of the 20th century. Thousands of clarinets made of ebonite are now degrading, and there is not much that can be done to prevent their eventual loss. The search for new materials and techniques to produce musical instruments continues today. String instruments made of carbon fiber are now quite popular, and 3D printing technologies are giving birth to new instruments and new ways to make old instruments.